Hello guys, Nat Blue here, and you might be wondering a few things. First, you might be wondering why there's an empty space on my right bookshelf back there. Secondly, you might be wondering, what's that t-shirt? And I have answers for both of them. So the empty space on the shelf, to start us off, is because today I'm going to be talking about the TTRPG books that I own. Specifically, today we're going to be talking about the D&D ones, because looking at my collection, I might have too many TTRPG books to cover in one video. So we are going to start with the D&D centered ones, and then we'll go into the rest in a later video, maybe next week or something. We'll figure it out. The t-shirt is a take one guess shirt, so I will show it to you guys. So, Take One Guess is a pop punk band in Ohio. I would classify them as pop punk. I don't know what they classify themselves as. And they have 2 singles right now on streaming. My Own Personal Hell is an amazing song. It's my favorite out of the 2 singles, but both of them are great. I think the other one is Hollywood Diva, which is also really good. It gives kind of a Bowling for Soup vibe. So if you guys like pop punk, if you live in Ohio and want to go see a show, they do shows at bars every so often. But I would definitely recommend checking them out on Spotify. I know they are working on new singles, so you might be able to, get in on the ground floor before they blow up. So I would definitely recommend it. They are great musicians and great guys. So now that I am done chilling for my friend's band in this video, I want to start by talking about a book that I don't currently have with me in this room right now. And that is Keys from the Golden Vault. So I own Keys from the Golden Vault, but it is currently in my D&D bag. Now I'm not going to go and grab it because I am worried I'm going to forget to put it back into my D&D bag. And that is the module that I am currently running. I do not want to show up to a session without the book. So I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. Keys from the Golden Vault is an anthology series, I would say. It's a bunch of smaller adventures broken up into one book. You can run it as a campaign, with the Golden Vault being the tying piece there. Or you can just run it as individual one-shots. You can tie it into different campaigns. A lot of the stuff takes place in Waterdeep, which is interesting. But I like the book so far. I've only done like 2 chapters almost. So I'm not super deep into it, but I've read the book. I think the adventures are solid. And it's a good heist campaign, which is not something that is as common in D&D right now. Now on to the first book that I wanted to talk about. We are kind of going to go in order here initially. I'm so sorry if my camera does some weird stuff. I have autofocus on this webcam and I am worried that this is going to get messed up because of it. But first book I wanted to talk about was The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So this is the first module that I ran, and I loved it. I'm a huge fan of the Feywild, and this is a Feywild heavy module. There goes the lighting already. This is a Feywild heavy module where there's a lot of opportunity to finish encounters by, talking it out. Not every encounter in this book has to be finished with combat. The book outlines ways for you to not finish it with combat. And I think it captures the whimsy of the Feywild pretty well. The story's overall good. I do have a lot of sticky notes and stuff in here because I'm taking notes on the campaign to do a future video about. But I loved this. I think it's a good starting book for a DM. It's a good book for a DM where maybe the players are not as violent, which I don't see how that could happen. I've only played with kind of violent players. And it's great for a DM that loves the Feywild, like I do. So, Wild Beyond the Witchlight, definitely recommend it. Great module that I don't think it's talked about often enough. Sticking with modules a little bit, next I wanted to talk about Tales from the Yawning Portal. So, Tales from the Yawning Portal is also a series of smaller sessions that you can run as one-shots or, short sessions that last 2 or 3 sessions. This can also be tied together. The Yawning Portal is a tavern in D&D where there is a portal in the center of the tavern where adventurers can go to find artifacts and things along those lines. So there is a connecting piece here that you could use for your campaign. But I haven't ran this yet. I've read some of it, and it seems like a lot of fun. I've heard great things about this book. I just think it's a little bit harder to tie this and Keys from the Golden Vault into an overarching campaign. There's not necessarily like BBEGs and stuff like that. You would probably have to homebrew something. Next, I would like to talk about one of my D&D box sets. So I have Planescape, Adventures in the Multiverse. So this is a multiversal campaign, exploring places like Sigil in the Outer Planes. It does come with 3 books, which I will try to take these out real quick. So you have Horn of Fortune's Wheel, which is an adventure module. Sigil in the Outlands, which is like the rules, locations, character options, and stuff like that for Sigil, for Planescape, obviously. And then Mort's Planar Parade, which is features from Sigil, which I love the artwork for these books. They have some cool pages in here. I don't know why I haven't shown any pages for any books so far, but like the artwork is great. Now, I'm not a huge Planescape guy. I saw this on sale, I think at Walmart, which was an odd place to find D&D books, but I saw this on sale and decided to get it because I like D&D. I read a lot of it. I'm not a huge fan of Sigil. I understand why people would be. I think it's a little bit too sci-fi for me. And oddly enough, I'm not a huge sci-fi guy, so not the biggest fan of Sigil. Beautiful books, though. If you guys are into that kind of stuff, I would still recommend them. There is one amazing part of this book that I wanted to show you guys also. Okay, I guess I was thinking of a different one, but still, each box set comes with a DM screen. And honestly, I do think this one is solid. It has, you know, the normal information, but then a lot of stuff about Sigil inside of it. So the different towns, it has conditions and stuff like most DM screens do, some portals and things along those lines. I love the DM screens that come with these. I just have never used one of the ones from a box set because I have a leather DM screen that I normally use. I was going to save this next box set for later, but I decided, you know, we've already pulled out one box set, and this is maybe my prized possession of my book collection. I love this set of books. And that is these guys. It is the white version of a few D&D books, a few iconic D&D books. The artwork is sick. I really want to show you guys these books too, though, because I think the artwork on the books is also incredible. So first up, we have Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Look at Tasha on there. Look at that. She looks so cool. And then there's a quote on the back. It says, "My mother once said, 'Natasha, my pumpkin, do you want to be a witch or a queen?' I answered, 'Both, mother,' and it's Tasha." That is such a good quote from Tasha, you know? Tasha is one of my favorite D&D characters also. Partially because of Rod Beyond the Witchlight, but I don't want to give any spoilers there. Next, we have Xanathar's Guide to Everything with Xanathar front and center on the cover. Look at that sick beholder there. His quote says, "I don't understand the attraction of gods. Why would anyone worship anything other than me?" And I love that too. The quotes are so good for these characters. And then lastly, we have Mordekainen presents Monsters of the Multiverse with this sick guy on the front. I don't remember what those are called. That's not a unicorn, is it? That might be a unicorn. I think that's a unicorn. Mordekainen's quote is the multiverse shines with countless wonders, yet I have seen so many of them that I am rarely awed. Not so with Kirin. They fill me with awe every time. I'm assuming that's what this is. Kirin. Kirin? I don't know. They don't tell you how to pronounce this stuff. They probably do somewhere in the book, but not on the back of the book, you know? But these are gorgeous books, and honestly, I might not have bought these 3 if they didn't come in this white box set. It is so nice. I bought it from a local game store, and I'm a huge fan. I need to start buying some more special edition covers, because these are amazing. My favorite part of this box set, though, has to be the DM screen for this, which I folded awkwardly, but look at this. It is so colorful, the camera doesn't even do it justice. Look at that, bro. It is sick. Like, tell me that isn't so cool, though. Tell me that isn't sick. This is maybe the coolest DM screen I've ever seen from a official D&D thing. I love the leather DM screens, but this is so nice. I need to use this and play eventually because it is just such a sick screen, though. This, like I said, might be my favorite DM screen. I just have not taken the opportunity to use it. Okay, so next up, I wanted to talk about Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. I think it's Von Richten, not Van Richten. I'm pretty sure it's Von Richten because that's normally how this would be pronounced. But this is a Ravenloft source book, which is exciting. So it talks about some stuff mentioned in Curse of Strahd. It mentions Strahd in this book. Strahd's one of the most iconic D&D villains, but it also talks about some different domains of dread that you might run into in the Shadowfell, some different aspects of the Shadowfell. It gives some new monsters. It gives some new origins, which are similar to races, but not the same thing, including the Reborn, which is like a zombie player that you can play, which is really sick, and the Hexblood, which is a hag player that you can play, or like kind of hag related. So I love this book. It is such a good book, and it also has some cool artwork. Look at these. They have different monsters and stuff in here, including the Nosferatu. It's just such a good book. And if you like Shadowfell, if you like Strahd, I would recommend this as a source book. I love it. It is one of my favorite books that I own for the content. I wish they would do a source book like this for the Feywild, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Now, this is where we start to get into the boring books. By boring books, these are the standard source books. This is the 2014 Dungeon Master's Guide. Now, like many people, I haven't read this entire book, guys. It is so long and boring and badly organized. I don't love this book. But, I mean, it has some good stuff in there. It has stuff about alignment, different magic items. And overall, it's solid. If you're going by the 2014 rules, with how long everything's been out, I don't know if this book is necessary anymore. You can find all of the information for free. You can download the rules for free, but just not with the book itself. You can get stuff digitally on D&D Beyond. I don't know if I would recommend buying this book. I don't think it's necessary for new DMs either. A lot of stuff will be covered in modules, and you can just watch YouTube videos. I don't love this. I think this is a little bit of a waste of time. I think it is only fitting after that to talk about the 2024 DMG. Now, this is the updated one. It is bigger. This thing is big. It has a map in the back, which I didn't realize until I just opened it. I think it is a map of, oh gosh, what's the place that everybody's going back to? Oh no. I should know the name of this, but you know what? I don't. This book is 377 pages. The other one is 319. So there's about a 60-page difference between the two books. It is chunky, but it has some cool stuff in here. There are bastions, there are stuff about the plains, different things in Greyhawk, which is that map I was talking about earlier, Greyhawk. Some NPC tips, some different places within, or some different hazards. There's a lot of information in here. I would not recommend the 2014. I kind of would recommend this. I like this DMG. With there being an updated version of 5e, I think if you are wanting to jump into this DMG is not bad. I would maybe hazard getting it right now. And that's because of the monster manual, which we will be getting to in a moment. They've already updated stuff from the monster manual. So if you have the hard copy monster manual, not entirely accurate. Unless you get the PDF on like D&D Beyond, where they do consistent updates to the PDF, I would maybe hazard getting the hard copy books this close to release, especially with how expensive they are. I think the DMG and the other two books are between like 50, 60 USD. Just for these, that doesn't count the special edition covers. And that's a little expensive for most people, a little expensive for me. But I do like this one a lot more than the 2014 DMG. I do wish that they had something in here about homebrewing monsters, but that's besides the point. The next one is the Player's Handbook for 2024. I do like this book, mostly for the updates. And, you know, all of the 2024 books have beautiful artwork. Look at that. Gorgeous. But mostly for the updates. The Ranger is a little bit better, a little bit worse, because Hunter's Mark has been downgraded. The Monk is a lot better than what it was. There's a few new subclasses, but I really like the Bard of Dance. And the Wizard has some cool updates. The Fighter has some great updates, with Axe and Swords getting a big buff. So overall, I do like the 2024 Player's Handbook because of the updates to the classes. Is it completely necessary to buy? Once again, it's kind of pricey. It might be good to wait a little bit for these books to get some age to them. But it's still a solid book. If you want to explore the new classes, new player options and stuff like that, I would recommend getting it. But PDF is a great option. Or just waiting for a sale is a great option. Maybe wait till closer to the holidays. See if there's any sales there. Overall, solid book though. Next D&D book. The last D&D book that's, you know, made by Wizards of the Coast in this list is the Monster Manual for 2024. Once again, I do not have the 2014 Monster Manual because I have a D&D Bestiary app that has those monsters in there. So it's not really worth buying for me. I do love this book, partially because the artwork is so good in this book. The monsters look sick. They did some really cool stuff here. The pictures are better than just like PNGs of the monsters. It shows people, you know, interacting with them sometimes, except for this one. But it shows how they interact in the world and stuff like that. It is so weird to angle a book for a camera, but they added some great monsters in here. There are new vampires, which I'm super stoked about. The dragons are a little bit more individualistic in this. They're not as similar as they were in 2014. There are some cool new designs in here. There are some things that people are upset about. The orc is not in this book. You can use like the soldier stat block and change a few things, I guess, but there's not a specific orc in here. There are a few updates that have been rolled out since this book that I do not know off the top of my head, but if you have it on D&D Beyond, those are being updated in real time, as opposed to the book where they're not being updated. So I'm going to have to find out what those updates are and notate them in this book. I know one of them is one of these monsters has an ability where you make a dex saving throw or be paralyzed. But if you are paralyzed, you cannot make another dexterity saving throw. It says you can make a dexterity saving throw to get out of this paralysis, but that's just not the case as rules per written. So I think Wizards of the Coast updated that to be a Constitution saving throw, which makes a lot more sense there anyways. So I do love this monster manual. Once again, it's an expensive book. This is a hefty fella. It's like 384 pages. And I think this was like $60. So you are kind of paying for artwork. I love the artwork in this. I think it looks amazing. Like I said, look at this Death Tyrant. But it takes up a lot of the page in some instances. In some instances, pretty much an entire page is just the artwork. But, you know, there are some sick monsters in here. There are still a lot of monsters in here, mostly because of how beefy the book is anyways. There are some new mimics and stuff that I'm super stoked about. Some new revenants, including the Haunting Revenant, which is like a house, which is sick. But it's just an expensive book. So if you are using the 2024 rules for your players, it would be good to use the 2024 monsters because they are a little bit stronger than the 2014 monsters, and the 2024 players are a little bit stronger. So using the monsters might help balance things a little bit more than just using the 2014 monsters. But I do recommend that for anybody that loves monster books too, because I think it's a great monster book. If you guys want to see me deep dive into any of these Hasbro books, any of the books made by Wizards of the Coast, please leave a comment. I understand a lot of people are not buying stuff from D&D right now because of all of the controversies in the past couple of years, and I will support those people. I understand that D&D has made some big mistakes recently, and they're not necessarily the best company to support, but I love the game, and I do really like the books. So I'm sorry if anybody is upset about me having these books, but I mean, I do support you guys pretty much boycotting the company. I am going to do a part 2 of this with my non-D&D books. That does not mean they might not be tied to D&D. As a preview, one of the books is going to be Humblewood, which is a 5e companion book. But it's not necessarily D&D. It's not by Wizards of the Coast. And then there are going to be some books that aren't the same system. Some of the books will just be those like role-playing guides and stuff like that, which I love. Like the Dungeon Master's guides, the role-playing guides, stuff like that. And then some of them are smaller books by smaller creators that I'm really excited about. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Keep an eye out for that other video because I'm super excited to release that one. Like I said, if you guys have any comments, leave a comment. If there's anything you want to discuss with the books, if you have questions about any of these books, let me know and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. If you liked this video, consider subscribing to the channel. You know, it's a free thing. You can just click a button, hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when videos are released. And other than that, guys, I hope everybody is having an amazing day. And until next time, peace.